Are you ready to retire? You have worked hard for 30, 40 years. You have saved, you have sacrificed, and you have finally hit that magic number in your nest egg. You look at your total balance and you think, I did it. I am safe. But I am here today to tell you that you might be walking right into a financial trap, and you don't even know it. There is a hidden danger lurking at the very beginning of your retirement, and if you do not understand it, it can completely wipe out your savings, leaving you broke in your golden years. It is called sequence of returns risk. Now, do not let that fancy Wall Street language scare you. I am going to break it down so you know exactly what it means for your money, your life, and your peace of mind. Because what you do not know will hurt you. When you are working and saving for retirement, the order in which the stock market goes up or down does not matter. It really doesn't. If the market drops in your 30s, who cares? You have decades to wait for it to come back, and you are continuously buying more shares at a discount. All that matters during your working years is your average annual return by the time you cross the finish line. But the second you stop working, the second you retire and begin taking money out of your accounts to pay your bills, the rules of money completely change. The math flips on its head. Suddenly, average returns mean absolutely nothing. The only thing that matters is the order in which those returns happen. Let me give you a reality check. Imagine two people, Susan and Jim. Both of them retire with exactly $1 million. Both of them need to withdraw $50,000 a year to live on. And over the course of a 20-year retirement, both Susan and Jim experience the exact same average market return of 6%. On paper, they should end up with the exact same amount of money, right? Wrong. Susan retires during a booming market. Her first few years of retirement, the stock market goes up 10%, 12%, 15%. Her portfolio grows so fast that even though she is taking out $50,000 a year, her principal remains untouched and keeps multiplying. By year 20, Susan is living large, and her $1 million has grown to over $2 million. She is safe, secure, and has plenty to leave to her children. Now let's look at Jim. Jim retires, and that very year, a recession hits. The market crashes, and his portfolio drops by 15% in year 1 and another 10% in year 2. But Jim still needs to eat. Jim still has to pay his property taxes. So, Jim goes ahead and withdraws his $50,000 from a shrinking account. Do you see what is happening to Jim? He is being forced to sell his investments when they are down at rock-bottom prices just to generate cash. He is locking in those losses permanently. When the market eventually recovers in year 5 or 6, because the market always recovers, Jim's portfolio cannot recover. Why? Because he sold off too many pieces of his golden goose early on. He doesn't have enough shares left in the game to ride the wave back up. By year 15, Jim is completely out of money. He is broke. Same $1 million starting out, same 6% average return over 20 years, but Jim is ruined simply because the bad years happened at the beginning of his retirement. That is sequence of returns risk. It is the devastating combination of market losses and mandatory withdrawals occurring at the exact same time. This is the fear that keeps so many of you up at night. You are terrified of running out of money before you run out of breath. You look at the markets today, with all the volatility, all the uncertainty, and you think, if I retire now and the market tanks next month, what happens to me? It is a valid fear. The 5 years right before you retire and the 5 years right after you retire are what financial professionals call the retirement risk zone. It is the most fragile decade of your financial life. One bad timing mistake during this window can destroy 30 years of pristine planning. So, what is the question you need to ask yourself right now? The question isn't, how do I get the highest return on my investments? No. The question you must ask yourself is, how do I protect my portfolio from a market crash during my fragile decade so I don't force myself to sell assets at a loss? Listen to me. You cannot control what the stock market does. You cannot control the economy. but you can control how you position your money to handle the storm. Here is your actionable takeaway. To take the sting out of sequence of returns risk, you must build a financial fortress using 3 distinct buckets of money. Bucket number 2 is your income floor. If you are approaching retirement and you are terrified of volatility, you need to look at maximizing your guaranteed streams of income. One of the best ways to do this is by optimizing your Social Security. Every single year you delay taking your Social Security past your full retirement age up until age 70, your guaranteed benefit increases by 8%. That is a guaranteed, inflation-adjusted return that no stock market asset can promise you. If you need to draw down a little extra from your portfolio early on just to allow your Social Security benefit to maximize, that can act as a beautiful longevity bridge. Bucket number 3 is your flexible withdrawal strategy. Gone are the days where you can just blindly take out a fixed 4% or 5% every single year and adjust it upward for inflation without looking at the horizon. You have to be flexible. If the market has a fabulous year, great, take your distribution. But if the market has a terrible year, you must have a pre-decided pact with yourself to cut back on your discretionary spending. Postpone the luxury cruise. Put off the kitchen remodel. By reducing your withdrawals during down market years, you reduce the amount of shares you are forced to liquidate, throwing a lifeline to your portfolio when it needs it most. Retirement is not just about accumulating wealth anymore. The game has changed. The accumulation game is over, you are now in the preservation and distribution game. You cannot afford to play reckless with the money you worked a lifetime to earn. Understand this risk, build your cash buffer, create your income floor, and stay flexible. Protect yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.